Okay, y'all, we are making Ezekiel bread. That is my grain. We make this every week. It's one of our staple food items for Brother Polk and I. And I have already milled my flour. This is about 5½ cups, which yields about 8½ cups of Freshmill flour. And I usually don't make that big of a mess, but anyway. So over here I've got my water in a kettle, and I set this kettle to manually to about 125, and anyway, so I do that, but meanwhile I start getting my dry goods together here. So this is 8½ cups of fresh milled Ezekiel flour, which come off of that grain that you just saw mixed. I put it into my grain mill and mill it, but I use 2 tablespoons of yeast, and I'll show you the yeast I'm using. I keep this in my freezer. It's down in my bag, actually. It's kind of spilled in there. It's Instafirm, and I order that off of Amazon or wherever's got it the cheapest. I never get it typically from the same place because I'm a frugal shopper. So that's in there. I need to get my Danish dough hook, my dough thing. And then this is a teaspoon and a little extra, which comes off of my, when I open it up. There's a teaspoon of salt. And typically, you want to mix this up. If you're doing this, you want to mix this up because you don't want, when you put your warm water in here, you do not want your warm water to go straight onto your yeast. Heat, hot water will kill it, and especially when you're dealing with a bread that you need to rise. And this is not going to rise real big. This is not, we're only going to, it's pretty warm today. It's warm in here. But it will, it'll rise pretty fast. So I think we've been averaging about 8 minutes. I'll look at it at 8 minutes, and I may have to let it go a little bit longer, but I'll mix it up and I'll put it in my bread pan, and let's see if I can get a good shot of that. It'll be about half full, and I want it to come up to right about there at the top of that pan. So, and I'll be measuring this dough out too, because I got to split it between 2 pans. So the next thing that goes in here, and looks like my water's ready, because I put it in a kettle, y'all, and I use filtered water for this. The next thing I'm going to do is my olive oil, and it's a ½ cup of olive oil and a whole cup of honey, raw honey. So what I usually do is I will do my olive oil first, just so you don't waste your honey. I'll do my olive oil first, and then I'm going to do my honey. And that honey, it's a cup of honey. So when I pour that in there, that honey's going to come out because of that olive oil. It's just going to be a little bit left in there. I love honey. So, see, it's coming on out of there. All I got to do is help it a little bit, because that olive oil greases that cup, and only a little bit left in there. Okay, so now I've got a measuring cup. It takes 4 cups of water, warm water. So I'm going to put my water in here because this is kind of cool, and it's going to bring that water temperature down a little bit more, because it don't have to be 130 degrees exact. I usually set that thing about 128, let it cool off a minute or two, and then put it in there. Yeah, that's nice. I'm gonna go ahead and mix it. Okay. All right, let me get this stuff out of my way here. But you want to use this type of dough hook because it goes through the and you see, it goes through the hook. See, it's got the holes in it. And I'm just trying to make sure I get all the goodie off the side of that bowl. My pans are already oiled up with olive oil. And they're just sitting over there waiting on me to fill them up. It's funny, I made chicken and dumplings earlier. Y'all saw that video. Hopefully by now I've got it posted. But I gave my grandbaby, she's with us this weekend. Gave her a little dough ball and she was over there just talking to the imaginary camera. She was making Ezekiel bread. So she is used to Granny doing this. And she remembered that word, Ezekiel. So she's going to learn the better things in life as long as I'm living. Not all this garbage out there that's not the Word of God and woke and just ungodly. She's going to learn as much godliness as she can from her granny and papa for sure. So that is ready to go in the pan. I'm going to go get me a spatula. And I got my scale there because I'm going to weigh it out. If I'm not mistaken, I do believe it's going to work out to be about 15 and some odd ounces per pan. So I got my pan, my first pan on there. Okay, and I'm gonna tear, ounces, and I'm gonna tear it out down to 0. Okay, so there's that. And I think it's 15 and some odd ounces. We're gonna find out. See if I can't guesstimate right. Oh, sorry. Make that 50 something, maybe. Wrong on all accounts. This is going to bake at 42 to 45 minutes at 350. And I'll see y'all when it's done. Okay, y'all, so it's 40.7 ounces. I had that wrong on all accounts. Okay, y'all, we have got our Ezekiel bread here. Got my little assistant right here. She's got to be in the middle of everything Granny's doing. So this is going to stand what we call rest, but basically we're waiting for it to rise. And I'm going to cover it with a towel, and I'm going to set a timer, and we're going to see how long it takes to get about that far from the top. So that's probably about almost an inch, but not quite. And it'll be ready to go in the oven. But we're going to preheat the oven at 350, and we'll be back with y'all in a little while when we get ready to pull it out of the oven. All right, y'all. We are right there. I think that's perfect. We're about to stick these in the oven. We're going to go 42 minutes, and we're going to see what we got. All right, y'all. Our Ezekiel bread is done. And look at there. This is my favorite part right here. It is hot out of the oven. You really should, with any bread, wait till it cools down good. But I don't have patience for that, because this is my favorite part right here. That piece right there. And now I didn't press, you see I did the sawing action there. And that's because it's still cooking, really. It's still cooking. But I do have some real butter over here. I'm not going to put that other stuff. And by the way, I'm using Smart Balance, because it was, I think, the lowest, if it didn't have any in it, saturated fat. But you see that right there? That's real butter. And if it was my homemade butter, I'd probably put about twice as much on there. But that is my Ezekiel bread, y'all. Oh, it's so good. And Pastor and Sister Spears will tell you, it's different. Now, it tastes different now. It'll have a little different flavor when it cools down. If you toast it, it tastes different. If you fry it up, it tastes different. I like to throw some juice eggs on it. Yeah, that is delicious. Now, what's that? That's some homegrown honey right there. Oh, you know what? I had never tried it with molasses. Let's do that. Yeah, I'm making a mess on the cutting board. It's my cutting board. I'm going to clean it. Let's try that. Oh. Woo. All right, y'all. Now, just so y'all know, Ezekiel bread, other than me throwing that butter on there, which I ain't so convinced that butter's bad for you, but it is whole grain. It is not void of its nutrients. This is a full nutrient bread, and it's full of protein. It has several different grains in it and several different beans. And I make my own mix. I order all my grain and I mix it, and then I mill it. I have the beans over there, and then mixed with the grain. I need to do another mix too. But Brother Polk and I absolutely love this. Pastor and Sister Spears love it. Their loaf I'm fixing to pull out of the oven as well. But that's it. That's my Ezekiel bread, y'all. God bless y'all. God keep you. And I hope I learned you something.